When it comes to buying a rental properties as a Canadian in the US market, you always thought about it's going to be very affordable, it's going to be a straightforward process, but in reality, there's a lot of hidden costs throughout this whole process. If you're Canadian looking to expand your portfolio into the US market, this video will reveal all the hidden costs that you need to know before jumping into your first deal. Hi, my name is Ping. I've been investing in real estate market since 2010 and actually pivot my strategy into the US market since 2022. And today, I'm going to share with you 5 hidden costs that you must be aware when buying the very first US property. And make sure you watch all the way until the end because this video might actually save you at least 20 to 30K. The hidden cost number 1 is that whenever we're getting into real estate, we get super excited. We want to acquire not only 1 property, 2 properties, we want to do 50, 100 properties. And we deliver that vision to our cross-border and content lawyer. And guess what? Now they're thinking about a setup to facilitate your vision from the very beginning. We talk about a general partner, limited partner, holdco, US holdco, and all that stuff before we even register the LLC. And we use that LLC to hold 1 property only. You're not buying 100 properties at once. Okay, you're buying 1 property only. And guess what? The setup that your cross-border and content lawyer is going to advise you is going to easily cost you additional $5,000 to just get everything registered. On top of that, you need to open a bank account for every single legal entity. And the next thing you know, the annual year-end filing for all these maintenance of the legal entity is going to be through the roof as well. And this is essentially the cross-border's accountant's business model that you need to be aware of. They're going to give you the full setup from the very beginning, and the cost to that is going to be extremely high. So my recommendation is very simple. You try to make money first before you spend. Try to get 1 property under LLC. Don't worry about double taxation and all that stuff. As you're working towards your vision, you can slowly add more legal entities to complete this whole taxation structure. But you certainly don't want to get everything done at once because it's too much work, too much expense before you even get your first property. So prove the concept first, use 1 LLC to hold 1, maybe 2 properties before you start thinking about the double taxation setup. And right here is already saving you additional $5,000 to $8,000 in your first year with the corporation setup as well as the tax filing. Number 2, real estate professionals fee. There's going to be a lender's fee, there's going to be realtor's fee that you still need to budget for. A lot of us are so used to having the seller cover all the realtor's fee, including listing agents, buyer's agent. You as a buyer are actually paying for the buyer's agent's fee as well. And that can easily be additional 2.5% to 3% realtor fee that you need to budget for every single transaction that you're buying in. So depending on where you invest in the States, there could be additional 2.5 to 3% realtor fee that you need to budget for that's not going to get covered by your mortgage. And for the lender side, keep in mind you don't have the US credit, you may not even have the US transaction history. The lender will potentially charge you additional 3% as a first-time investor buying in the US market. So these two definitely need to be taken into consideration. And the last thing that you want to pay attention to is the insurance as well as the property tax. These 2 numbers can fluctuate quite a bit if you're out-of-state investor. So before you put in your first offer, make sure you always over budget because there's still going to be a hidden cost in between this whole process that you need to be budgeting for. And the third hidden cost that you need to kind of be aware of is the closing time. And when we're buying in the US market, I would just find that closing time has constantly been postponed or delayed depending on the situation. Things happens all the time during the closing time, and guess what? In the US market, there's no real estate lawyer involved. It's just title company, title agents, seller, and buyer. And typically that's it. It's very common that we see delayed closing, and you need to always be kind of budgeting a little bit more. And you want to always be aware that if you do things a little too quickly, sometimes you end up incurring some of the costs. Giving you one example. We have a member who transferred the utilities before closing. They get everything set out, ready to close, and then closing got delayed. And guess what? In order for her to be able to transfer that utility back to the seller, and for whatever reason, seller is just not signing that because someone is paying for her utility. So we have to wait until the actual closing day, do the credit adjustment. And this is the stuff that if you don't go through a deal like that, you actually won't know what to expect because something unforeseen will always happen when you are first getting into the US market. Hidden cost number 4 is property manager. We all heard about one saying that a property manager can either make or break your rental property, and that's 100% true. Most people are only budgeting 10% management fee and maybe a little bit of a 5% rehab cost and all that stuff. But the truth is, after going through multiple different property management companies, I realized one thing, which is their inspection fee is extremely high. Whenever they are coordinating a repair, they will send me a vendor bill, which by the way, sometimes there's a markup on it. And this is my personal experience. One of my rental properties, I had a total of $1,200 just in inspection fee. No work was done, performed, just the inspection fee. And these inspections are totally crazy. Lead inspection, HVAC inspection, the annual checkout for the property, the smoke detectors and all that stuff. They just itemize everything and put $100, $150, sometimes even $200 for every single one of them. And obviously, I wasn't happy about it. We had a very direct conversation, and eventually I had to let go of property management like that because this is their true business model. But here's the thing though, it's still really important to find the right property manager. Don't try to self-manage remotely. It's not worth it. You just need to find the right property manager who's honest and transparent with their charges from the get-go. And this leads to number 5. You gotta have some local connections. Being a remote investor, out-of-state investor, a lot of people kind of understand that you're not going to pay that much attention or details to your property. And oftentimes this will be the reason why people are trying to take the advantage of you. I've heard about people who hire a contractor handyman right to the property, do something, take the deposit, never perform the work. And later on, when the property gets fully renovated by another set of contractors, they realize one thing: their property started getting broken in. Someone took their appliances, someone took their HVAC units and all that stuff. This is because you're not present and you're not really taking care of the property the way you should. A couple quick solutions to that is that always make sure that you install a security system in your property. And second, always hire someone that's outside the property management and your contractors to go visit your properties. This could be a realtor, this could be another investor that I also invest in the same area. This could also be a home inspector. Whoever that you use is, just pay them extra for them to kind of go around the properties, take some pictures. Make sure you have a third eye that pays attention to your property so that everybody knows that you're watching it carefully. Once you have a procedure set up for your first couple properties, things will get easier and easier as you scale up the portfolio. And the most effective tip here is just to keep networking locally through Facebook, Zoom, anything like that, so that you get to know more people. If you can have 3 contacts for each category, you're going to find this remote investing getting easier and easier as you scale. And final word for anybody who's trying to kind of figure out all these hidden costs: get into a room of people with shared vision, like-minded individual who's going through this whole journey, because this is where you can exchange their ideas and also understand their solution to each problem. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Like and subscribe, and if you're looking to acquire your very first US property, watch this video. You'll break down 5 simple steps for you to get started.